Hello, math teachers, and welcome back to the beginning of a brand new school year. My name is Ryan Timms. I work with the Dana Center, and I'll be bringing you the solutions to our math fix throughout the year, along with a lot of other initiatives in our communities of practice. You'll be seeing my name along with a lot of posts and discussion starters. You might even, some of you, see me in some of our quarterly trainings. So, without further ado, here is the very first math fix of this school year.
Today's math fix centers around 8.ee.1. Know and apply the properties of integer exponents to generate equivalent numerical expressions. In this math fix, we're asking students to list as many examples as you can for the values of x, y, and z in each of the statements below. What patterns do they notice about their examples for each statement? Well, let's take a look. In our statement x to the y to the z power is greater than 1, students might start off by saying, well, what about 1, 2, and 3? Well, if x is 1, then raised to the second power still equals 1. Raise that to the third power still equals 1, so it's not greater than 1. But if we have 3 squared, well, now we're dealing with 9 and to the first power, and of course that is greater than 1. 0 to any power is still 0. And then at the end, we go down for x is 2, y is 1, z is 0. Well, then now we're dealing with that to be equal to 1. And then we start getting a negative 2 squared is 4. Square that again is 16, so that yes. And then we've got a negative 1 to the first power. The first power is, of course, negative 1. So we see a pattern that if our exponents total up to be something like 0, or if our main number is something larger than 1, then we might get something that is greater than 1. On our second statement here, we have x, y, z is less than 1. Well, this is a little bit harder. So we're going back to that 1, 2, 3 example. Of course, again, it's no. And then pretty much the opposite using some of the same numbers as whether it's larger or now smaller than 1 from our first chart. Where it turns to be a little bit harder is where we get the x to the y to the z power is equal to 1. And we saw that that first one is now finally true because 1 squared is 1, and then 1 cubed is, of course, still 1. So we are starting to see some of these neat little patterns popping up. If we can maintain a 1 all the way through, then we're going to be equal to 1. If we can get something that has a larger exponent on a larger base, then we're going to be greater than 1. And if we can get something with either a negative exponent or a negative base, we can start to see something that is below 1.
Well, teachers, that's our math fix for the beginning of the year. You'll be seeing me again in a month. So looking forward to hearing how you're implementing these tasks, and welcome back to a brand new school year.